In this video, I'm going to try out this Pro camera gimbal against this Pro smartphone gimbal. There are a lot of smartphone users today, and is it enough if you only buy a gimbal, or do you need to buy a Pro camera and a Pro gimbal to get the best result? Or is it enough to just handheld it and do it all in post and see if we actually need gimbals at all? First out is the smartphone. I'm using a Samsung S22 Ultra. It's a big one. It's one of the heaviest, and this gimbal actually takes it quite good. So I'm going to do different ways of using the gimbal. I'm going to try filming it and in camera, so you can make up your own opinion on the quality. I'm not going to go into the settings of each gimbal or the modes. I can do that in a later video. I just want you to see the difference between using a Pro camera and a Pro gimbal against a smartphone and a smartphone gimbal. I don't have a ND filter for the S22 Ultra because they are not making it for the S22 Ultra yet. So I just have to use the shutter or the speed setting in the phone to dial down the exposure. So the picture is going to look the way it's going to look. That's just how it is. Preferably, I want to use the 180 shutter rule, but I'm not able to with this phone. So that's something you can have in mind when you buy that phone. That trying to find the ND filter so you can get your shutter down when you're filming. Yeah. Okay, now I rigged up the Zone A7 III. I've attached a ND filter to it and the Pro camera gimbal. I'm going to do the same routine with this camera setup, and afterwards I'm going to do a 3 series with B-roll. I'm going to use this setup. I'm going to use the smartphone and the smartphone gimbal, and I'm going to do one segment only handheld, but I'm going to post-process it in the Premiere Pro system to stabilize the picture, and then we can see which one of the 3 is the best. Do we need gimbals at all? Can we make it in the post-process, or are we too shaky in our hands? There are some techniques you can use, but I can make another video of that if you want to, how you actually should move with the gimbal to get the best results. This setup is much heavier than the smartphone and smartphone gimbal. I can see one positive thing with this setup is it's much heavier, but it feels more stable in the hand. Very hot today. By the way, I would really appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, maybe like, maybe a comment. I would like it. I found a nice location for the B-roll shooting, I think, and actually it's going to be 4 segments, because you have one with the gimbal and one without, because I told you I'm going to do handheld as well, and the same procedure is going to be done with the camera and the camera gimbal. So hopefully it's going to be some nice B-rolls. And also I want to try to make it a little interesting for you. I'm going to not write which setup I'm using during the segments, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you which segment I was using. Okay, that was it. I hope you got a little insight into the gimbals and the difference between a smartphone and a camera. And my advice to you is to do a lot of research before you buy your first gimbal, because I've only been doing this for a short while, and I already know that a gimbal is not something that you use every day. It's a cool gadget that you can have, but it's for certain situations that you need it. So buy it when you need it. Don't buy it just to have it. Be sure you research what camera you want or have, if it's a good stabilization in it, and if you do post edit, do you really need a gimbal? But gimbal is good for certain situations, as I said. So if you're going to do those things, then buy a gimbal. The difference between a smartphone gimbal and a camera gimbal, I'm really getting eaten up of mosquitoes. Whew. I'm not sure if you can see them. The difference between them is maybe not so big. The smartphone is much lighter to carry. The Pro camera gimbal is much heavier, and again, it's not something that you wear on you all day because it's too heavy. You're gonna have some hurt in your arms and your elbows. So don't buy it just to buy it. Buy it if you really need it. But I need to go. Remember to subscribe and all the rest. Bye bye. Jesus fucking.